In your own words, what did you hear me say? Anybody?
If I'm going to learn this, I need to learn it a different way than I have learned things in the past.
I need support in that. Will you support me in not doing my old patterns if possible? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? What did you hear in your own words?
It's a good thing because it's the ways that I've tried to do stuff in the past, it hasn't really worked. So it's a relief in a way to know that I don't have to try that way anymore. You know?
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I wish somebody would tell this other part of myself that. The part of me that keeps trying to do it the old way. Yeah. Anybody? You had your hand up, brother.
Yeah, I was going to say learning my complete connection to source will happen only through my own experience, not through what I see others doing.
Yeah, I think it happens faster when you don't get other people involved in it.
See ya.
Really?
Yeah, I think you wake up faster when you don't get other people involved in it. Because what happens when you get other people involved in it is sometimes you really know what's right for you and what's good for you until you listen to somebody else and you doubt it. Yeah. Because they'll tell you their experience and their way of handling it, which probably is perfect for them. Yeah. But you make the mistake of thinking that maybe the way you had begun to recognize the truth wasn't true for you. And another thing, sometimes you can be very strong in your new thoughts, this new way that he's talking about, right? And then you share it with somebody who sees it differently, and again, you start to doubt yourself. So sometimes when you're really thinking about putting yourself down, ask yourself one question. Ask yourself if a divine being would choose it. When you think about whatever is going on in your life right now that's upsetting yourself, ask you if a divine, unlimited being would choose what you're choosing.
Hell no.
Say it again. Hell no. Hell no. A divine, conscious being who loved themselves probably wouldn't choose some of the things that you're choosing. Anybody else want to say what they heard in their own words? What I said, what the book said? Yeah.
Sometimes when we think there are no books to learn what we need to learn. And sometimes when we think we're going through the worst possible times we could possibly go through, those are the best learning times for us. I think you said that.
Yeah, did you get it when I said an alarm clock is not a pleasant experience? Sometimes when you're shaken out of a sleep, but it gets you up. And without the alarm clock going off, you would have stayed asleep. So I'm saying that we have a massive alarm clock going on in this dimension and in this world and in this dream right now. I've never seen so many people who are in chaos, emotionally or mentally, or all of them at the same time. And it's because the alarm clock is going off. And we know it's time to wake up. And we can't wake up through the methods that we've learned from the world, and we can't do it through secondhand experience. And what we need to know is ourselves. And I can't know myself unless I know myself. So it says, if this were so, he says, in the case of coming to know what lies before you now, coming to know your own self, it is obvious that another's experience will not bring this knowledge to you. Not even my experience will bring this knowledge to you. Basically, the course of love is supposedly coming from Jesus to correct and to take us to the next level of consciousness that Jesus did not cease to exist 2,000 years ago, because Jesus isn't a body. Whether this is true or not, I believe it is, but it's not necessary for you to believe that this is Jesus in order for you to benefit from what's being said. Just keep that in mind. Because it makes sense to me that the methods that I've used before has not worked, right? The methods I've used before have not worked, but I'm going to use some brand new methods now. And I'm not going to use other people's experience. And the thing I most need to know is myself. And in creation, any need I can come up with is going to be met. So that's how you're going to finally get beyond the idea that you even have needs. Do you know that the way that you're going to get beyond knowing that you have needs is to see all your needs met? So it's not about you saying you don't have needs and pretending you don't think you have needs. It's about seeing your needs met. And as you see your needs met, you will know you have no needs. If I'm hungry and I get a big dinner, then I know I don't have hunger anymore. So it's not through pretending I'm not hungry when I am. It's about getting the nourishment when I need it. Sometimes people on spiritual path think pretending that they don't feel what they feel is the way to become spiritually enlightened. So they'll be in complete denial of what they really feel. And then they're shocked when something chaotic happens to them and they don't realize it's happening to them because they're out of touch with their feelings and their needs. So what you want to do is start looking at everything in your life. It's not so much a judgment, but just a very interesting point of view. So from now on, you don't have judgments. You just have points of view. Does that make sense? Is that easier? And I got points of view about everybody. I got points of view about everything. Okay? They're just what? Points of view. So one point of view would be that you need to try to do it the way you used to do it in order to be happy. Another point of view would be that maybe there's an easier, newer method that you've never tried before that has to do with your own self and your own experience that will work better than anything you tried before now. Yeah, brother?
Okay, I guess I'm kind of lost because, okay, you're talking about, not being able to get it through secondhand experience, and then you're saying that...
Speak up.
Okay, I guess I'm kind of lost because you were saying about, and over here it says about not being able to get this through secondhand experience, and then you were saying that it's better not to involve other people.
Okay, let me explain what I mean by when I say that. When I say it's better not to involve other people, what I mean by that is you need to let other people follow their own path, get in touch with themselves, live their own life, stop trying to interfere with them in any way or change them in any way, bless them in who they are. Don't try to get them involved in the sense that you need their validation in order for you to follow your truth and what's true for you. That's what I mean. So I'm glad you asked that question. We already have people too involved. So just to say we shouldn't have people involved, that might just bring us over to a balance. Let alone take us to the extreme other side. That just might bring us to the middle of the road if I say, tomorrow I want you to put your path first, and I want you to use new methods for you and you to give yourself the first-hand experience of having needs met and trusting your own guidance. See, that would be new. And it's easier. Sometimes I forget I can think whatever I want to think. Do you ever forget that? Sometimes I actually, even in my own mind, I won't think certain thoughts, even though I'm not even telling anybody else about them. So certainly, privately, I could think any thought I wanted to think. And I'm keeping myself from knowing the power of my own thought by refusing to think what I want to think. So you deny the power of your own thinking every time you don't think the way you want to think. That's your power. That's why we think that our thoughts have no power. It's because we don't think them. We think the thoughts we were taught, we think the thoughts we read about, we think the thoughts we were programmed to think on TV and billboards and radios and books and history and all the things we were taught from the time we were born. You haven't had any of your thoughts yet. You're just regurgitating things that you were programmed with mostly since the day you were born. No wonder we're not happy most of the time, except those special occasions. But I want to be happy more than special occasions. I want it to be an ordinary experience of my existence. Looking forward to every now and then maybe having a good time. That sucks. I ain't interested in that.
Yeah.
I'm a child of God. I'm a child of love. I was extended by an infinitely powerful being. I'm in a body to learn what it's like to be in a body and to experience separation and experience the clouds, the trees, a physical body, being here. It ain't what I am. It's not what I am. It's my space suit. And I've gone crazy. I now think I'm my spacesuit. Not only that, I'm judged by the color of my spacesuit, and the gender of my spacesuit, and the wealth of my spacesuit. It's funny. So when I leave, I just leave y'all my spacesuit. Okay, you just do what you want to with it. If not, I'm just gonna cremate it. Okay, all right. That's something that I put so much guilt on, something I'm willing to give away just like that when it's time for me to leave it. But yet while I'm in it, I judge myself by what I do in it, how I look in it, what I say in it. It's so funny. It's like judging yourself by the clothes you wear. Y'all don't do that, do you?
No.
So stop resisting, stop reacting, don't align with it, don't agree with it. He says, Jesus said, it's obvious that another person's experience will not bring this knowledge to you, not even my experience. If my experience would have brought the knowledge to you, all of those who read of my life and words would have learned what I learned from my experience. Whew. I said again, if all those who read of my life and words would have learned what I learned from my experience, if I could bring that to you. While many have learned much of others, this type of learning is just a starting point. That's deep. I'm gonna go over that again. He says, now while many have, so learning from others, we do learn from others, but learning from others, do you know that learning from others is just the place where you begin? It's the starting point. So if you've been learning from others from the day you were born, congratulations, you've begun. You're at the starting point. You're at the starting point. Now, what is a starting point? What is a starting point? A starting point is a gateway to having an experience. So I learn from others until I get to the point that I am at a gateway, which is I'm at a point now that I can start experiencing what I have learned from others. You've just gotten to the point that you can now experience what you've learned through your books, through your meditations, through all the things you've been studying. From the time you were born, you're now at the gateway where actually now you can start experiencing some of this stuff you've been reading about. That's the gateway. I'm so happy to know I'm at the gateway.
That's so cool.
So how many of you feel like you're at the gateway? You really feel like you're at some experience in your life right now? Who would care to share with me what thought has them most disoriented right now? What thought has them kind of going, What are you pondering? Who would care to tell me what they're pondering?
They're doing it to me.
That you're doing it to you?
They're doing it to me.
That they're doing it to me. Yeah, that's obvious. That's why people stop right at that point, because it's reasonable not to go beyond the obvious. It looks like it's your fault. It looks like it's like every time I think I'm enlightened, all I have to do is look at NBC Evening News. And I find out real quick how enlightened. You ought to try sometime. If you think you are enlightened, watch the news. I know some of you avoid it like the plague, but that's okay. You follow your own guidance. I go through periods where I don't do it, and then I go through periods where I do. But ask yourself, how could it be that you don't believe in something that you avoid? It's so real you're afraid to even see it. I'm not saying you should see it, but I'm saying think about that for a minute. If you really knew it didn't mean anything, if you really knew it was an illusion, if you really knew it didn't matter, you could look at it. And you could look at it without being affected by it one